Okay, I handed out 4 pieces of paper, and of those 4 pieces of paper, who drew number 1? Okay, thank you. Who drew number 2? Okay, thank you. Then I guess, John, you're 3, and Alan, you're 4. Right, and then we'll reverse order and go the other direction for closings, okay? I think we have 2 minutes for opening, 2 minutes for closing, and in between, we're going to try to get to 4 or 5 questions. I'm sorry about the limited amount of time that we have for the program tonight, but we had a mighty big agenda. So with that, I think that we will call Janet Murphy up first, right?
Okay, from here?
Or you can do it from either place you want to. I don't know if you want to take, go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and you can do it from either place if you'd like.
I'm going to go really fast because I thought we had 8 minutes, right? No, never mind. Hi. What a crowd. This is amazing. Good evening. Isn't it amazing to come out in the snow in Arlington? Thank you to the Arlington County Civic Federation for sponsoring the forum. I'm the independent Green Party candidate, Janet Murphy. I'm a positive Green Party supporter of sustainable economic, ecological, and social benefits to Arlington for building rail, especially Columbia Pike Rail. I ask you to elect and hire me for this job. Here are my qualifications and why you should. I will work to keep our schools, police, and fire departments strong. I'll work to invest and grow the value of our community with vital investments like rail, solar, and geothermal energy. As the elected Arlington County Indy Green Party chair, I am a progressive liberal. Like almost 40% of Washington, D.C. metro area households, I have no car. I bike. I support more bike share. We need to make Arlington even more walkable and pedestrian friendly. I am a renter. Arlington Affordable Housing is part of the Indy Green platform. Arlington Affordable Housing matters and impacts my life in a very personal way. Education, I have a bachelor's degree in English from McGill University. My graduate degree is an MS in psychology from UDC. To work in IT in this area for 13 years, I received a diploma from the Computer Learning Center in Springfield, Virginia. I've worked successfully in many different business environments. I now live and work in Arlington as a hospitality professional. I have worked as a real estate agent also and a property manager. I'm the mother of an adult and married daughter, the same person. My mother lives in a wonderful assisted living in Lexington, Massachusetts. Being elected to the Arlington County Board would make history as the first Indy Green Party person elected in Arlington. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. And now we're on to Mr. Stephen Holbrook.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank everybody for getting the invite. And I also want to thank all the people that signed my petition to get me on the ballot. I'm a retired FBI agent accountant. I worked for the FBI from 1997 to, up to 1997 from 1973. I published for the AICPA, Harvard International Review, Boards of Directors magazine. I've been quoted in many articles. I'm an expert in accounting. And I can tell you this, very simple. We have a problem in Arlington County with our budget. It's gone up 300% where I live from 1997 to 2012, while people's pay's gone up 40%. I've walked all over this town, up and down Columbia Pike, Lee Highway, Wilson Boulevard. I've lived here for 34 years. I know a lot of people. We have a problem. We've got to cut spending. A lot of my friends and young people have moved out of town. They've asked me to run the people that are left. I'm even considering leaving because of the high tax structure here. And not only that, we have Arlington County Board brags about being the highest per capita spending of students than anywhere around. We have a spending problem. It's got to stop. So I'm going to do everything when I get in there. I'm going to tear the budget apart. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on with it, and you're going to know. And I'm going to force the issue. I'm going to demand that the Democrats and the people that are on the board listen to the people of Arlington County and not just their party. I am running for all the people of Arlington County. Not a party, not a union, not an organization. Nobody owns me. Arlington County people own me. That's who I work for.
Thank you, Mr. Holbrook, and now I'm going to introduce Mr. John Weistad, who is running for County Board 2.
Thanks very much, Michael. I'm John Weistad, and I hope to earn your support and your vote for County Board. It's good to be back at the Civic Federation tonight, but I never have really left. I first became a delegate from Terraleeway Heights back in the 90s. The Civic Federation is the backbone of Arlington. And if I'm elected to the County Board on April 8th, I'm not just going to be here once a year. Why am I running? First, to put my 30 years of community service to work for all of Arlington, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and across the county. Over the years, I've worked with many of you on projects ranging from stopping a drive-through McDonald's along Columbia Pike at South Cleveland Street, to negotiating with Arlington Hospital on construction concerns during its expansion, to forging coalitions and testifying before our school board and our county board on rebuilding of Wakefield High School. Second, I'm running to add balance and accountability and a fresh perspective to a board that, frankly, for lack of electoral competition at the ballot box, has grown insular and dismissive of alternative viewpoints. Mary and I moved to Arlington in 1981, first to the Pike and then to Terraleeway. We sent our boys to Tuckahoe, Swanson, and Yorktown. We love Arlington, but we need a community conversation about where we're going, how we can be more effective in engaging our community in preserving what's best about Arlington while shaping change. And third, I'm running because we need to recalibrate our spending priorities to focus on core services like public schools, public safety and infrastructure maintenance, neighborhood quality of life, not streetcars, not million-dollar bus stops, or gold-plated aquatics and fitness centers. Why am I running as an independent? I've heard time and time again that at the local level, people care about issues not looking through a partisan prism. We're a fusion campaign. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Weistad, and now we have Mr. Alan Halsey, who is going to give his remarks.
All right, let me just start by saying thanks to Mike, and as a delegate to the Civic Federation, I always enjoy being back here. I also enjoy being back at Arlington Hospital because this is actually where I was born. I don't remember that time, but I grew up in Arlington. I grew up on Jackson Street in Clarendon. I've lived in Fairlington, and now my wife and I are making our own home here in Arlington in the near Westover in the Highland Park neighborhood. We're here because Arlington is a great community. And I am optimistic about the future that we have. I'm running because I love Arlington, because I believe in the power of public service, and I'm proud to run as a progressive Democrat because I believe in things like equality, of opportunity, shared prosperity, of having a strong social safety net. I'm also running because I know how important local government is to people's lives. It, for example, clears our roads. It provides fields and parks. It provides affordable housing, and most importantly, it educates our children. On the board, I want to bring new ideas. I want to bring a fresh perspective that's gleaned from my years of experience in government, in business, about how we can use innovation to better deliver services, to reduce costs, and to make Arlington better. In this campaign, I've knocked on over 3,000 doors, from Fairlington to Halls Hill, Crystal City to Country Club, to hear directly from voters about what their priorities are. And that experience has reinforced my commitment to being responsive to residents and to having open communications. It's what I did as president of my civic association and as vice chair of fiscal affairs, and that's what I'll do on the board. These conversations have led to some of the priorities that I'll lay out in this campaign around the need for great schools and rising school enrollments, as we heard from the school board. We need a candidate, we need a voice on the county board, somebody who actually has kids currently in Arlington Public Schools. We need a livable community with affordable housing, transportation, recreation, strong public safety. And we need fiscal responsibility that balances the choices of today with long-term investments that provide for the prosperity of tomorrow. So I look forward to your questions. I appreciate your being here tonight, and together we can make Arlington even better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Housey. And the ultimate act of fairness, we're going to have 5 questions tonight, and this box holds the names. I'm going to choose one, and then each of you guys choose one out of the box. There you go. I have to say that. You can take them home if you like. Mix it up a little bit. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so we're going to have 5 folks come to the microphone. Questions are going to be 30 seconds, no statements. And we're going to take it from here. Mr. Wayne Kubicki is questioner number 1. How many seconds do we have to answer tonight? 1?
Does everybody answer, or is it direct?
Everybody answers. And then we have questioner number 2 is Chris McLaughlin. Questioner 3 is Tom Conley, Bellevue Forest. Question 4 is Cantor. And then question 5 is Stacy White. So if you all would come to the center microphone and let the questions begin.
Wayne Kubicki from ACT. Thank you, Michael. We're hearing a lot in this campaign, and I think, Alan, you said it specifically in your speech tonight about new ideas and fresh perspectives. Can each of you give me 2 major policy areas where you disagree with the majority of the current board?
Okay, how about if we started off in the order that we gave opening statements, and then we'll shift it from there. So, Ms. Murphy?
Okay. Is this alive? Hello, hello. And one area where I disagree with what I infer to be the position of the majority on the board is that the travel and tourism promotion budget line item has no money in it. And I really think that I work in a hotel here in Arlington, and I think it's a great destination, a wonderful place to visit. We have things like the marathon and Rolling Thunder, different things come to town, and I'd like to see it wouldn't take much money, but a little more support there. And the second thing, I actually haven't got a second thing. That'll have to do right now. Because I agree with the Columbia Pike Light Rail, and the majority do agree.
Please see me afterwards. I have a long list. Okay. Let's start off with the streetcars. I walked up and down Columbia Pike, couldn't find one person to support it. Talked to every business and person on the street. I live at Courthouse Road. They want to build a homeless shelter next to me, put sex offenders in it. All the women in the building want to move. They went over to talk to the board. They wouldn't listen to it. Out. Cut it. $38 million. They haven't told us how much money they're spending, how much we're losing in tax revenue from the building. They don't tell us anything. Could be $70 million. Aquatic center. What a waste. Affordable housing. Affordable housing to who? All the friends I know are moving out of town. They can't afford it. So I live in a 627 square foot condo. It's 30 years old. I'm subsidizing people in 888 square foot brand new 2 and 3 bedrooms apartment. What's affordable? Let's get our act together here. I think the people here need to be listened to. They're running me out of town. They ain't going to do it easily. I fight, and I'll fight for the people. These people won't.
Thank you. Let me cite 3 areas. Sure. Number 1, the streetcar. This $310 million streetcar is not the way to go on Columbia Pike. Now, let me stipulate right off the bat, I'm a huge fan of mass transit. I take mass transit every day, and in fact, I venture to guess that if I'm elected to the county board, I'll be the only county board member who takes mass transit to commute on a daily basis. I carpool in the morning. I take the metro from Farragut West to East Falls Church. At night, I hop either the ART bus or the Metro bus down Washington Boulevard, and then I hoof it the rest of the way. But we can do a modified form of bus rapid transit system along the Pike much more quickly, much more cost effectively, with much less disruption to businesses and residents alike, and for about the same development potential and transit efficacy of moving people from point A to point B. Number two, we still don't have an internal audit function in this county, and we need to. The county board has rejected the Civic Federation's recommendation time after time. And number three, I have serious differences with this board about density and where that is taking our county right now.
Right. So as I mentioned in my opening statement, part of what I bring and offer in this campaign is a background in business. And I spent 10 years working for IBM around how do we drive innovation in government? How do we make government work better, deliver better services, and reduce costs? And in doing so, I think I'll point to a couple of examples where I think we can do better. And one is the James Hunter Dog Park. I think that was an example of where the design and the cost well exceeded what was needed for the space and for the community. An example of where we need to ramp back and really align the design with the available resources so that we're not overspending and overbuilding what's needed. And then the second area, I think, is around our rising commercial vacancy rate. I think it presents challenges for our community. It threatens our ability to fund other priorities such as our schools and our social safety net. And I think as a board member, what I'll do is bring my business background, my experience to reaching out to the business community, to strengthening our commercial sector here in Arlington to make sure that we have the vibrant commercial businesses that provide 50% of our tax revenue that allow us to have the best schools in the country.
Okay, I would ask that we hold applause until after the end of all the presentations so that we can move this thing through seamlessly. We're up to question number 2, and I wanted to make sure I got the order down for this question. Mr. Holbrook, you'll go first. Mr. Weisstadt, you'll go second. Mr. Hauser, you'll go third. And Ms. Murphy, you will go fourth with this question. So, Chris, please.
Hi, I'm Chris McLaughlin. I'm a delegate for the Arlington Gay and Lesbian Alliance. My question is, do you support marriage equality for gay and lesbian Arlingtonians? If so, what is your history of support in achieving this, and how would you work on the county board to promote it? Thank you.
Well, at the FBI, I was an EEO counselor, so I had to talk to a lot of different people about a lot of different issues. I think people should have an opportunity to live, work, and be safe in their jobs and where they go. I support that very strongly. And I will support it as a board member. I don't take exception. I think of all you as one person. I don't look at you differently. I don't look at you as a man, you as a woman, you as old, you as young. You're all important to me. I'm a servant of the people. I'm not a county board person. I'm a servant. That's the way I would like to be addressed, because I work for you. I've lived here for 34 years, too. I hope I asked you a question. And I walk around here. I took the bus over here. I'll take the bus home. I know I've lived here I haven't owned a car in 34 years. And if you want to see my handouts and see about the Parent Teachers Association and affordable housing, I've written them up. You're glad you can have them. Give me your email. I'll send them to you.
I believe in LGBT rights across the board. I also believe in marriage equality. When I was active on the County Council of PTAs, first as secretary and vice president of the County Council of PTAs, one of the presentations that we had was on bullying in our public schools. And it was very clear to me at that time that there was a problem in our schools with respect to sexual orientation and LGBT issues in our schools. And I spoke out. In fact, I was quoted in the Sun-Gazette as supporting that policy and, in fact, advocating that we need to do a little more in that regard. I voted against the 2006 constitutional amendment. I thought it was misguided. I thought it was the wrong thing to do. I'm proud to have the support of the many log cabin Republicans, and I hope to have the support of as many people in the LGBT community as absolutely possible. Thank you.
Yeah, I absolutely support full equality and marriage equality. I think it's been too long, and it's been for too long a divisive issue that has been used to divide people in our community, and actually in our country, less so than in our community. So I also oppose the 2006 constitutional amendment. I think its repeal can't come soon enough, whether at the hands of the legislature or at the hands of the courts. And I will be an active fighter for its repeal and for full equality on marriage and in every other aspect of life.
Thank you, Chris. I support individual and human rights in every way. I actually am a practicing Catholic at this late stage in my life, and I've sung in a Catholic church choir for about 15 years. I was very happy to hear what our brand new Pope has to say about this matter, because there is a basic respect that's due every person, and we've all got problems, I would say. So my own history of support for gay rights is mostly personal, with my personal friends. I have many gay friends, and I love them, so I want what's best for them.
Okay, thank you. I think we're up to question number 3. And the order for this question would be Mr. Weisstadt, Mr. Halsey, Ms. Murphy, and then Mr. Holbrook. Please.
Tom Connolly from Bellevue Forest. I'd like to turn Mr. Kubicki's question around. Which of Arlington County Board's current policies or achievements would you most support?
I think that by and large, well, let me back up a second. I indicated in my opening remarks that Arlington is a terrific place to live. My wife and I moved here 30 years ago. I moved here from Nebraska. My wife who moved here from Iowa. I got off the covered wagon and settled in Arlington, first at 2121 Columbia Pike and then at Terraleeway Heights. I've been invested in this community for so long. Served on the Housing Commission, the Planning Commission, the Aging Commission. I was on the board of Community Residences, a nonprofit that supported services for the developmentally disabled. We love Arlington. We want to give back to Arlington. And I'm not looking to upset the apple cart, but we need to rearrange a few of those apples, get our priorities back in line. I think by and large, smart growth has been good, but development is encroaching on single-family neighborhoods, and we need to be careful about what density is doing to our county.
Yeah, so I'll say from a personal perspective, I think that both as a beneficiary of Arlington's public schools and now as the parent of 3 young children myself, that Arlington's commitment as a community and as leaders, both on the county board and the school board, for really excellent public schools has been a hallmark of our community. It's really defined who we are as a community, and it's something that we should continue to value and continue to invest in. So one of my commitments is to help to work with our school board colleagues to find solutions to our overcrowding. As you know, again, the father of young children in elementary school where the crowding is most acute, we need to find solutions not only there, but really at the middle and the high school level as well, because we're very rapidly moving into a situation where we don't have enough space at our middle schools and high schools. So the Arlington's commitment to our schools is something that we should continue very much to strongly support.
I really must apologize. Could you tell that question again? I've lost track of what the question is. Thank you.
Sure. Which of the county board's current policies or achievements would you most support?
Okay. The transit-based development that's dated since 1996 has been a long, strong record of achievement. Look at the Roslyn Courthouse, Clarendon. The Metro line has brought growth. This year, there's been a 5% increase in property values in Arlington. Also, the fabulous job that they've done with car-free Arlington. There's bike trails everywhere. It's fabulous. I love it. I love living in Arlington. I hope we can do more along those lines, including solar energy and Columbia Pike Light Rail.
By the way, that's a great question. Very good. And what it is, what you're asking of us is it's a double-edged sword. I mean, we can go out and buy everybody here Mercedes or a Volkswagen. In our school systems, we have the highest per capita spending for our students. Yeah, you pour money. Nobody up here is talking about cutting. I'm the only one talking about cutting and giving the money back. But I'm talking about efficiency and effectiveness of operation. We're not doing that here. We're going to give the school teachers a 3% pay raise. The people in federal government gets 1.5%. After taxes, they get nothing. They're going to have to pay for this out of their lunch money. We've got to stop it. So, yeah, we got a good school system, but they're overpriced. Why do we always have to pay the most and say we're going to spend more to get your vote? I'm not going to spend more to get your vote. I'm going to take money away and give it back to you.
Okay, thank you. Question number 4.
Herschel Cantor, Williamsburg Civic Association. How would you apply your professional experience and background to creating innovation in the county government?
Okay, and that question will first go to Mr. Housey, and then to Ms. Murphy, and then Mr. Holbrook, and then to Mr. Weiss.
Sure. So I'll just say that, for the record, the reason federal workers didn't get a raise is because Republicans have blocked getting raises for federal workers for a number of years. So let's be real clear about that. And as I mentioned before, that innovation is something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I have professional experience with, and I think I'll provide a couple of examples, and I talk to people on the doors about this. It's the ubiquitous cell phone, right? You walk around, it's got a GPS on it. We can use that same technology of GPS to put it on our snowplows. And so as they're driving around, as we've seen the last week, instead of having trucks go up and down the same street 4 or 5 times and you kind of try and wave them down to get them coming over to your street, which we do, that you can see which streets have been plowed and the drivers can see which streets haven't been plowed. What that does is allows for more effective and efficient clearing of our roads. It reduces our costs because we're not applying salt and not using excess gas, that kind of thing, excess people. And it allows us to get to deliver better results for the community. And that's really what, at its core, what innovation is about. And that's what we should be looking at in our local government.
Well, since he brought up the Republicans, let me bring up the Democrats. They brought us Obamacare. How do you feel about that one? That's what I'm talking about. That's how you spend money. I tell you, keep spending, Democrats. Okay, my expert is in accounting. I've testified in court of law as an expert. I bring that expertise to this county. I will go over these books. I'm going to take a pay cut. I'm going to ask everybody on the board to take a pay cut of $9,000. I'm going to work 60 hours a week because I'm a servant of the people. I'm going to find out where this money's going, and I'm going to tell you where the money's going. And I'm going to work to cut it and bring efficiency and effectiveness back into this county so we can all afford to live here, young, old, and everybody, and you don't have to move. And who is to determine affordable housing? Hey, you're going to kick me out of town because I can't afford it, but everybody else can that you can define. Stop it.
Is it my turn? I have some great ideas. I have 3 areas in my working history that I feel I can really use. One is in housing. I was a real estate agent for 10 years in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, and currently I work at a hotel. But I think we ought to have co-housing promoted here, co-housing inclusive communities. They have a few here and there. I think we ought to have the old-fashioned rooming house, where somebody could go and rent a room with so on and forth, and that would be innovation. I also feel that when it comes to jobs, I think there's an innovation I would like to see. I think so many people are so frustrated having to be evaluated by a computer program. I worked in IT for 13 years. I know that computers have little algorithms in there. They're torturing people. You keep on trying to get your resume past the computer, and there's some bug in there, or they don't like people named Janet Murphy or something, and you can't get past it. I think we ought to have an audit on this. I found out from a young man, there's a horrible thing called the Agile Development Model, where they put an 80% done project out, and then we debug it.
Okay, innovation, just a couple of points. I'm glad to hear my opponent to my right talk about his innovation agenda. You've been on the Fiscal Affairs Advisory Commission now for a while and chair the Fiscal Affairs Advisory Committee. I'd like it if the Fiscal Affairs Advisory Committee would share some of these great new ideas and we could go forward with them.
Read the reports, they're in there.
One thing that I think we really need to do is break down the silos that we have between our school system and our county government. The school board and the county board, the schools have their land, the county has their land, the schools have their snow plows, the county has their snow plows. We've got to get out of these silos. We need more cooperation. I walked down to Westover and the Westover post office yesterday, just a couple blocks from my house. And there was a county worker there shoveling the snow. There was a snow blower. He had the shovel. And I said, what's your prognosis for getting this all done today? And he said, well, it's going to be a 2-day job, and we can't do everything because the schools are going to handle that component, down at the end of the hill, and then the county will pick up where the library is. So I think we need to definitely be more innovative in terms of sharing our services, breaking down our silos. Thank you.
Great. We're up to our final question tonight, and the order will be Ms. Murphy goes first, Mr. Holbrook, you'll go second, John Weistad will go third, and fourth will be Mr. Howells. So please.
Am I up?
Yes, you're up.
Okay. Hi, my name is Stacy White, and I'm a delegate from the Arlington Heights Civic Association. First, a quick comment, because I don't know when I'm going to see the four of you together in one place at one time, and it's that I hope, first of all, thank you all for being here tonight, answering our questions and speaking to us. I hope whichever one of you winds up on our county board, I hope that you can work respectfully with one another, treat each other in a positive way, no matter what your differences may be in terms of policy. I say that as a resident and a citizen. I have a question. Do you support, sorry. Sorry. Do you support Arlington's transition from an emergency winter shelter to a year-round 24-hour facility for transitioning homeless Arlingtonians to supportive housing? How, if at all, would you want to modify the county board's current plans for this project?
I'm first. I do see this homeless problem. We're a very budget hotel, and people come to the hotel. We know they have no home. It's just terrible. And it's not, it's a syndrome. I'm referring to the concept of homelessness. It's not just not having a house right now. It's a lot of other things have broken down. There's separation, and there's a mental health component. I would like to see another thing, which is that I would like to see Arlington County out in the front innovatively saying, to bring a mental health counselor from having an advanced degree to being a licensed person, you have to have 4,000 hours of clinical supervised time. People can't afford to do this, so we don't have that. So I would like to see Arlington County supporting that for mental health. And as far as their current plan, as I said, I'd like to see more boarding houses and affordable rooms in the mix. Not just having people have to prove that they're poor and that their tax return shows how poor they are, and everything's perfect except they're poor. That they don't want to be poor, so why would they want to prove they're poor? We've got Section 8 already. We've been there, and we've done. I think we need some more things in the mix. To that, thank you.
I'm an accountant, so I'm going to take an accounting approach. We have an internal revenue code. It's called a charitable organization. Then we have a government code. Government is not a charitable organization. I have a write-up that I've responded, my full response on affordable housing. I'd love for everybody to read it because I articulate exactly what we need to do. And that is charitable organization. I support, I give money, I help people, and we'll talk about it, to help people. But charitable organizations should be the one helping people, not government. Government has an endless pocket. They can keep taxing. They can decide who gets it, who doesn't get it. It should be charity that does it, not government. Government should stay out of it. They can't fix schools, police, and roads. We're getting into things we can't even deal with. It's ridiculous. I'd love to give this to you so you could read it. And I would be happy, more than happy to give it to everybody so you can read what I have to say. But you're more than welcome to have this, ma'am, and take it with you.
I support the new homeless shelter down at the courthouse. But let me just back up 1 second. Back in January, I spent a Wednesday evening touring the existing A-SPAN emergency shelter for the homeless. Boy, my mouth is getting dry. I didn't want to disrespect Jay Fazette by bringing a water bottle, and I didn't have time to fill my thermos. But anyway, I toured that facility, and frankly, it was a real eye-opener. Now, I know that some people in some of the nearby residences were a little angst-ridden when the county decided to locate the new homeless shelter where it is. But on balance, I think it's the right place and the right thing to do. It's close to Metro, so people can get to work if they're able to get jobs. It's close to other county services, and it's close to the police station. And all of those things are important for that type of facility. And finally, I would just add that when I was a member of the Housing Commission, I supported funds for homeless services and other transitional housing for those in need.
Alan, I think it's you, Alan.
Stacy already answered the question. And I was first.
Okay.
That I remember.
Losing it. All right. Yeah, exactly. I do support the 24-hour shelter, and I support it because compassion is an Arlington value. We take care of people who are in need, and the ones most in need are those who are on the streets, whether they're veterans who have served us in our nation, or whether they have mental illness or have simply run into very hard times, that we should be providing support for them to help them get back on their feet. And what the 24-hour shelter does is it provides them a place, but it also provides a set of wraparound services around mental health, around nutrition and health, nursing services to get people back on their feet so that they can go back to living healthy, productive lives. And I think that's better not only for them, but really for all of us. And if you look at the economics, you look at the accounting on it, you'll actually see that the lower cost solution is to provide 24-hour services to get people back on the street and not rotate them in and out of shelters all the time. That makes economic sense, and it makes moral sense.
Okay, now we're up to 2-minute closings. And first up is going to be Alan, second will be John, third will be Stephen, and fourth will be Janet.
Thanks again to Mike for moderating tonight, and for all of you all for coming out, and for the Civic Federation for hosting yet another important community discussion. I think what you've heard tonight from my opponents is clear choices about the direction of our community, where we want to go. As I said at the outset, I think Arlington is a great community, and I am optimistic about our future. Now, I'm not Pollyannish. There are areas for improvement, and we need to continue to perfect our community, but I'm not Chicken Little either. The sky is not falling, and we should not lose sight of what really is working in Arlington, and there's a lot that's working for us. You've heard from my Republican opponents about all the things that are wrong with Arlington, but I'm committed to finding solutions that get us to how we make Arlington work better. We can't just say no, because we've heard that from a lot of Republicans all around the country for a long time, but no is not a solution. Low unemployment, stable home prices, great schools are what we have in Arlington because we have said yes to taking the long view, to making public investments in schools, in transit, in our community. Now, we can't give any project, a blank check, but neither can we stand still. So we have to face the challenges that are unique to our time, and my experience in business, in government, in community leadership, as a parent with children in our schools, gives me the unique perspectives to solve those challenges that lie here before us. And as I mentioned, rising school enrollment is, I think, the biggest challenge facing our community. So we need someone who actually has children in our schools, who understands what it means to have children in overcrowded classes and schools, who talks with other parents to hear their concerns. Now, I believe in a progressive community, as I mentioned, one that opens doors of opportunity, one that seeks to break down barriers of inequality, that really provides a better Arlington tomorrow than we have today. And I will bring to the board fresh perspectives, new ideas, and a commitment to communicate and to reach out to the entire community. So you have the power to decide, will we make the decisions that stand the test of time, or will we take short-term solutions that perhaps are politically expedient today, but do not provide for future prosperity? So thank you again for being here tonight. I ask for your vote, and I appreciate your involvement in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I went a little, I guess I heard the buzzer when I first made my opening remarks, and I was at the point where I was saying I was conducting a fusion campaign and running as an independent. I'm not going to hide my Republican background, but I'm running as an independent because I am giving voice to so many people across the political spectrum who are frustrated, who are concerned about where we're going as a county and where we're spending some of our dollars at a time we have skyrocketing school enrollment. My kids were in schools for 17 years, and during a large part of that time, they were in overcrowded schools as well. It doesn't take a whole lot to get endorsements by people from your own party, but I have the endorsement of the local Republican Party, the local Green Party, and many prominent Democrats. On Wednesday morning, April 9th, we'll wake up to headlines that will announce the winner of the special election. Will the headlines and the editorialists trumpet a reaffirmation of the status quo, a triumph of business as usual and for the streetcar, and more of the same? Or will the people of Arlington write a different headline, a headline that voters have added balance, accountability, and a fresh perspective to our county board? That we need to concentrate on core services like public education and our capacity crisis, roads and infrastructure maintenance, public safety, and neighborhood quality of life. And accountability and transparency for an audit function. Many of you know that I've approached every community activity over 30 years in a fair, even-handed, bridge-building, and nonpartisan fashion. I pledge to do the same on the county board. At 2100 Clarendon Boulevard, I'll ask questions and not just nod my head. You'll write this headline. You'll decide. I ask for your vote. I'm John Weisstadt, and I hope to earn your support. Thank you.
Well, I hope you all heard the big difference up here. You got 3 people that want to spend your money. I want to cut it. I want to give it back to you so you can afford to have a place to live, and your children can live, and you can live into retirement. Or you can hire people come in and tell them. You don't need to hire anybody. I'm here. I'm the expert. I can tell you. You're going to save money. I'm going to cut my pay. So you have an option here, and it's critical because we're getting very close to where Detroit is. Detroit has a lot of similar problems we have. Closing stores, people moving, high cost of school operation. It's a lot of similarities, very close. And I know a lot of people that have left. So you have to make a choice. You have to step out of your skin. Am I a Democrat, a Republican, an Apple person? What am I? I'm for you, all of you. I don't want any of you hurt. They don't care. None of them mentioned one thing about cutting anything. They're going to spend to buy you a vote. I'm not going to spend to buy you a vote. I'm going to cut to buy you a vote. That's the difference. It's a big difference between me and these people. And I will be your servant. Now, I've worked on some other things I'm more than happy to talk to you about. I'm up to 3 pages listing all the taxes we pay. And it's incredible. Sales tax, unemployment tax, excise tax, 5% tax on inventory in the businesses tax. You pay it all as citizens, directly or indirectly. We got to stop it. It's incredible. Give the money back, let the people go out and buy their own things, create jobs for our people, get them off the Apple cart. Thank you. Please vote for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, of the Arlington County Civic Federation and all member civic associations, thank you for the opportunity to present positive Indy Green Party solutions. I ask you to vote for me, Janet Murphy, on April 8th, and our candidate Jerry Blay for Congress on November 4th. We need more Indy Party candidates and leaders with a positive vision for our future. Green Party founder and American University graduate Petra Kelly fought tirelessly for world peace, nonviolence, and nuclear disarmament. It is still our fight. Growing cheap renewable energy is an important step in progress. A favorite phrase of Petra and the Green Party remains, think globally, act locally. Let us act locally here in Arlington to build for a green, sustainable future. We do that with smarter growth, walkable, pedestrian-friendly, bikeable communities built around rail. Let us do this because it is just good common sense. It builds humane, caring communities. It's eco for the economy. It creates sustainable profits. That revenue flows to our schools, police, and fire departments. In her book, Nonviolence Speaks to Power, Green Party founder Petra Kelly quoted this poem. Where would we get to if everyone said, where would we get to, and no one went? To have a look where we'd get to if we went. Well, here's where we can get to. We can have an Arlington that is energy self-sufficient in every building using geothermal heating and cooling, solar panels, every building conserving energy. We can build Arlington with more rail infrastructure that serves South Arlington County. We need more trains, less traffic, serving Arlington north to south in the western side of the county. We can build new passenger rail under the Potomac to relieve the orange crush on Metro Rail. And we can build in Arlington that it creates affordable housing. Of course, this is a very important final point, my friends. We can on April 8th vote to put another woman on the Arlington County Board of Supervisors. I'm Janet Murphy, Independent Green Party. I'm that woman. I ask for your vote on April 8th. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our program, and I ask one favor after I thank the candidates for County Board that I have one really important announcement before I lose some of you tonight. So I'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight and taking the time and really coming out for the community here tonight. And we appreciate you as candidates, and we look forward to the election on April 8th. Thank you very much. Okay, now I got one important message, and that is that the Civic Federation Priorities Survey came out. And there's some on the front desk. I meant to say this earlier tonight. And that survey will be up on the website, and we will also distribute it by email, because I know many of you out there worked very hard with us to try to figure out what the priorities are for the community, and we want to make sure that we get that survey out there to folks.